Welcome, everyone. I appreciate you coming tonight and joining me. As someone who is an early adopter of Google Docs, I think that it's a fabulous way to process all of your Word documents, especially when Microsoft Word is sometimes something that you have to pay for, depending on what your level of membership is with Microsoft. But Google Docs is going to be a free program for to use as long as you have a Gmail account. So if I can see a show of hands, hopefully you know how to raise your hand in Zoom. Just to know if you have a Gmail account and have accessed Google Docs before, just so I can get a feel for what our level might be tonight. Or you can just unmute yourself and tell me that you've used it or not.
You said
Yes.
Have you used it? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I've used it.
No.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay. We have a lot of people. It's going to be really basic for some people that might not have used it, but it will also do a few features that can sometimes be a little tricky that people can't always figure out. I'm going to share my screen now, and we will go through the agenda, give you an overview of what we're going to be doing this evening. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
I think everybody's okay. So on the agenda this evening, we're going to discuss 5 different main sections with a couple points within them. The first one is going to be creating and importing files. The second is going to be editing and formatting documents. The third will be sharing and collaborating on files. The fourth is going to be printing and downloading documents. And then the 5th section is going to be accessing your calendar, notes, and tasks. That's a little bit more advanced, and it utilizes other features of Google apps that work with Docs to help you do that. So we'll talk about what those are, and we'll kind of click through those in case you're not familiar with them. So the first thing that we're going to do is create a new file. So one might think, well, how do I even get to Google Docs if you've never used it before? So I'm just going to open a new tab, and I happen to use Google Chrome. I feel that that is the easiest web browser to use when you want to use the Google suite of products. So when you just open a new tab and you have Google Chrome, it will look something like this. And you're going to have what they call waffles. Usually there will be one waffle that's in color up at the very top left of your screen, and then another waffle next to your login picture by the top right of your screen. Either one of these will pull up the various Google apps that you can use. If you click on the one to the top left, it'll show the main ones that most people will use. Generally, people will have their Gmail, their Google Drive, where they save all their documents, Slides, YouTube, Sheets, and Docs. So if you go through that waffle that was at the top left, you just click on Docs, and it will open up the home page. Now, if you don't have that for some reason, if you open a new tab, you can go over to the little waffle that is next to your icon that shows who you are. And you click on there, and it's going to be a bunch of different icons. Usually, at least for me, Google Docs towards the bottom. So you have to find the little gray slidey bar all the way to the right-hand side of your screen and go down underneath the divisor line, and you would click on Docs. And that will bring you to the same page that we had before. So now if we want to go and open or start a new document, you can see that I've been using this quite some time. I have a bunch of docs in here. But to just start a new blank doc, you just have to find the little plus sign that says blank, and you can just start a brand new doc. as you can see up here, it just says Untitled Documents. When you click on this little box, it'll allow you to rename it. It highlights where it says Untitled Document, and you can type in what you want. So we can call this PWPL Google Docs Test. So now, as you can see there, it has this little, like a little spinny bar that said saving, and now it has a little cloud with a check mark, and that means that it's saved. With Google Docs, it is completely cloud-based, so it's going to do an autosave feature every few seconds. So once I type something in, you'll see up here it says saving, and now it says save to drive. It's automatically going to save it in my drive, which is where everything gets saved when it's a Google document, or slideshow, or Excel sheet, whatever Google's versions are of all of those, it goes into your drive. So I'm gonna pull up what my drive looks like so you can see what that looks like. This is just a sample from before. I'm gonna refresh it because that was a new document. So my drive, you can see here, this is our agenda, the Google Docs basics. And then we also will have all of the other documents. So I'm going to go back to our document that we were working on. Oh, over here. What just, sorry. My screen decided to search for a signal. Okay, we're back. So we have this sample document that we started. So I think that's pretty cut and dry. Does anybody not know how to start a blank document? You can unmute yourself and say it, or type it in the chat. Give me a thumbs down if you don't know how to do it and you want me to show one more time. No, I think we're okay. I'm not getting any feedback. Sue, you raised your hand. Would you like me to show one more time, or you're okay? Okay, so how do you open a document? Is what someone just typed in the chat. So if I am in my Google Docs, this is my main one. If I go just on a regular homepage and I want to see how to open a doc, I'm going to go to either Waffle, the Ask Waffle, or the one next to my login, and I click that. And then I'm going to go to Docs, which is the little blue paper that has the folded over corner. And you click on that, and it's going to open a sheet. To start a new document that you've never used before, you could do blank, or you can start it from a template that will give you the templates up at the top. You can also choose from the template gallery. And I'll show you, you can choose a resume, a form letter, something personal. For instance, I have a dog, I leave instructions. When we have a dog sitter, you could use something like that. There's recipe formats, things for work that you can use any of these templates to start with. So we can start with something as simple as a recipe. I used to be a cooking teacher, so for me, that's kind of my world. I'm happy to look at those with you. But that would be just how you open it. That's opening a template in order to open an actual doc that you have yourself already saved. We'll go into that in a minute. Because I'm going to show you how to take something that might be saved as a Word document from Microsoft Word and to open it into Google Docs and convert that as well. So we said before, the way that you title it is you would to this box over here, you see the little Docs icon. You can go, this takes you back to the home page. If we wanted to open up our test sheet again, we could just click on it. And if we wanted to rename it or give it a name in the first place, because it's the first time we're using it, we would just type it in this box.
I have a question about the auto save. Can you change it so it doesn't save as often as it does, or and manually save, or can that be changed at all?
You can save it as if it's like a hard document on your computer in case you don't want the version to change as often. But because it is a completely cloud-based system, it's going to save. I've never been able to see a setting that allows you to auto-save less frequently on Google Docs.
And how often did you say it saves?
It's about every 5 minutes. Like you can see here, it says last edit was 4 minutes ago. That was the last time that it saved it. But you can open your version history by clicking on the hyperlinks, which is the underlined words here where it says last edit was 4 minutes ago. And we can see what it looked like before. It can, if you're collaborating with someone else, it'll tell you who wrote it. And that'll, okay, it's 7:09, we had a different version of it. It was blank. And if we accidentally got rid of it, we just go to the more current version and it comes back.
Okay, thank you. That's an important question.
And if we want to get out of that, we would hit this little back button. And if we wanted to print it, we would hit the little printer icon here. If we wanted to zoom or shrink, we could do that. Okay, so Peter, I'm sorry, my
What happened to the?
Maria, you have to unmute yourself.
Thank you. I didn't realize I was muted. I apologize. If you go to google.com, there should be a waffle over here. If there's not, it might mean that you do not have a Gmail account. I'm just trying to read through the comments. Okay. So when you are looking through, somebody asked how we search for an existing file. The way that you would search for existing is you could go to File, you could go to Open, or Control and 0 at the same time. I'm going to do it from a different document though. File, Open. And it's going to bring up your drive, which is where your cloud is for your own personal documents. There'll be an option to go to files that have been shared with you from other people. There also is an option to star a document, which is basically to make it a favorite. And there'll be some here that you can look, and then recent ones that you've been working on. And then there's also an area where you can upload. So if you want to upload something, if it's saved on your computer, even if it's from a different file format, you can just drag and drop here, or you can choose a file from your device. So if I wanted to choose just a document that I had, I can upload that into my Google Drive, and now we can see this. We'll go in. You can refresh my Google Drive and that will now show up.
Call from Manchester.
If you don't have a waffle, I'm just trying to see if Peter was able to find it. Okay, Peter, if you don't have the waffle to open the docs, you can just go to google.com and you can type in Google Docs. Right, that would be better. And it'll come up here and you can just click on it and it'll bring you to, oops, that was the search, sorry. Not what I wanted. Google Docs is the first one. Google Docs free online. And you can go to Google Docs if you don't have a business G Suite because you're not a business owner. You can use the personal, which is what we're using today to get through. Did that answer your question, Peter?
Can you hear me? This is Peter. Yes, I found the waffle.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you. Am I
But
for
I don't
everyone? Yes, no, I'm not sure.
What was your question, Maria?
I was saying, am I echoing for everyone?
Oh, no, you are not. For me,
Okay.
anyway.
You are for me.
If can anyone who's not speaking, if they mute, maybe the echo goes away, I think.
Looks like the majority of the people are saying that I'm not echoey, but for the person who asked me to make my screen font bigger, was that helpful? I made it a little larger. So if we're looking at templates, someone asked if there is a business resume. They have a lot of different resume options. So you can click on resumes. And you can make this. At ECNY, we actually teach a different format than most of what these templates are. The templates here will often be kicked out of portals when you're applying for jobs. So we want to kind of dissuade you from using some of the templates specifically for resumes. We do have classes on resumes. I just did one a few weeks ago on resume formatting basics. I'm sure Denise would be amenable to having another resume class. But I would stray away a little bit from using the resume templates in Google Docs, but you can certainly create a resume here. Let me read what the next, okay. So just, yeah, back button is exit. And it doesn't really matter because everything is saved. So if you accidentally X out, it's okay. It's still there in your Google Drive. So I just want to go back to. So we already went through how to create a file and then how to import the file from your computer, which would either be in Drive or saved on your actual computer. So now if we want to convert existing files, I'll show you how to do that. So if you have the existing file either saved on your computer or saved in your Drive, you would go to it. So for instance, this was my resume format sample that I taught a few weeks ago, but this is saved in Word. I can now right click that and I can either open it with Google Docs and that is going to convert it, or I can just click on it and start editing if I want to keep it in the Word file. So for today, I do want to just open it in a Google Docs format, and it's going to just convert it over from Word into Google Docs. It will change things a little bit. For instance, this line was between the name and the phone number and email and LinkedIn addresses. So you would have to do a little bit of formatting, but for the most part, it will completely convert it without too much hassle of you trying to refix it. Let's see if there are any questions about that. Sorry, I'm trying to read the chat. So Bruce's question is, will it convert PDF files? It will save PDF files into your drive. It does not convert it to an editable document. You would have to get an Adobe product for that for most PDF conversions. However, if you have a PDF, you might be able to, depending on how the actual PDF that you had was saved, you might be able to copy and paste the PDF and then have at least the text transferred over, even if it's not the formatting. So I'm going to So for instance, this is a PDF. I can go to open with Google Docs. And it's going to think about it a little bit. Someone asked, how do you see your own screen and mine? I believe the way that you do it is you minimize your Zoom window where you're seeing my mirrored screen, and then you can have or not minimize, but like you shrink it down so it doesn't cover your whole screen, and then you can open Google Docs in a separate window and be able to do what you want to do on the side. I will get to, so this did not convert the formatting, but at least the wording is here. It will take some formatting to fix it and make it look as good as the PDF did, but you won't have to copy and paste all of the text individually. It did save it that way. So if we want to go to a Google Doc that we have, okay, so this one potentially, and I want to save it, I would go to like save as a different type of file. You can see that this says it's a .docx. That means that it's a Microsoft Word format. That's what it came from. So when you go file and you want to, you could save it as a Google Doc. That way it is in that type of attachment, or you can download it as a Microsoft Word .docx. And that would be how you save it as a Word document. So if we had this one, that's just our agenda, and we wanted to, this does not say .docx here. So we want to make it a Word document. We would go down, File, Download Microsoft Word. And now it came down here into the bottom corner. We can open it on our computer. I'm sorry, my screen has multiple screens, so I'm just going to try to drag this over. So this opened up in this box. It shows me where it is. So now if I wanted to open this, I could double click on it and it is going to open it in my Word. So this was on my other screen. And you can see that it's now in a Word document in addition to a Google Docs document. I'm just trying to read the comments. Okay, so if we're looking at Drive, want to go back.
Google Docs.
What was that?
Here's a matching video.
So when you go to add a new, you can do a new file upload, or you can, if you're in Drive, you can go right to Google Docs and you can do a blank document or from a template. So this is for the person that was saying, I don't see all the templates. You should be able to get all the templates going from this way. This is the template gallery. And it will be a much larger group of templates to choose from. There are some that are going to be add-ons. Those generally will mean that it's going to cost you money to buy the templates. I don't necessarily suggest that. There are free templates available, many places that you can use within Google Docs. But there are a lot of different options here for templates as well. I'm going to go back to where I was by just closing out my Google Docs that we were in here. I'm going to go back. So far we've gone over creating a new file and importing and converting existing files. We were able to bring it into our Google Docs and open, and then we were able to save them as Word and save Word as Google Docs. So the next thing that we're going to do is edit and format a document. Is everyone seeing my screen, or are people seeing me speaking?
I'm seeing you.
But not my shared screen. It says my screen is
Correct.
sharing, so I'm not sure. Maybe John can help walk you through that in the chat.
Okay.
It seems like some people can see my screen and some people cannot. Some people can see both me and the screen. I don't know how to fix that. Maybe I'm just gonna ask our tech person to help.
Oh, now I can see it.
So the next thing is going to be edit and formatting a document. So we're going to add and edit some text. So I'm just going to open a brand new document. We can just call this edit. That's how we're saving it. We're just putting a file name in. So now we can put in just anything that we want to put in. Okay, so I just clicked there, anywhere on the big white rectangle, and I just started typing. So now if I want to say, change the formatting a little bit, I can highlight it. I can make it bold by clicking on the B. I can take that away, make it regular. I can italicize it by clicking on the slanted I, or take that away. I can underline it, ununderline it. You can also do these using shortcuts. For PCs, it would be the CTRL button plus B at the same time for bold, I at the same time for italicize, and U at the same time for underlining. If you have a Mac, there's like a little 4-leaf clover looking thing. It has 4 loops on it. You would hit that button and either B for bold, I for italicize, or U for underline. If we wanted to change the color of the text, you go to A with the thick bar under it, that's text color. You can then choose whatever color you would like. If you wanted it to go and make a custom color, you could choose custom. You could either put in a color code, or you could drag it to the color that you like. Sorry, my screen is not doing what's supposed to be doing again. My computer is not cooperating. I'm just gonna look back and see if there are any comments that I can help. Okay, it's back now. I have my screen maximized as large as I can without it being too big for me to work with. It's at 150%, and it takes up my entire giant TV screen that I'm doing. So I actually can't make that any larger. I can maybe zoom this part, but other than that, I really can't make it larger than it is. Okay, somebody wrote, can I please explain again how to convert PDF from Word? I'm not sure what that means. So if the person who wrote that can please clarify, you want me to take something that I've created here and make it into a PDF document, or you want to take
yes,
PDF?
PDF from Word, we want to change to PDF.
You want to change a Word document or a Google Docs to a PDF?
Google, yeah.
Okay, so there's actually an easy way to do that. If you just go to a document, you would go to File, and then you can download the PDF document.
Oh, okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. If that doesn't work for some reason, you can always go to Print.
Print, okay.
And when it comes up, it lets you choose what printer you want.
Okay.
Defaults to save as PDF, and then you can save it as a PDF document. So
Okay.
there are 2 ways there to make something a PDF.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just zoomed again. I don't know how I can possibly make it bigger. It's really so big on my screen that I can't see anything else besides the actual document. It's taking up the whole page. So I added some text, I edited some text. I can go in and I can highlight text. If I wanted to make that yellow instead, I can change the green text back to black text. So I think for the most part, text is going to be easy enough to edit. I will show you. To unhighlight, you would go from highlight to none and get rid of that. We can also change the fonts if we'd like. Say we want just a fancy font, we can just go to the drop down and choose a font that we like. You can go to more fonts and download ones that you particularly like. You can also change your font size. If you wanted to, if you don't want it to all be the same font size, you can just change it to the size that you would like up here. If anybody needs additional help with that, I'm happy to go through it, but I think that it is pretty self-explanatory. I'm just reading the comments. Someone said, if I have a Word doc and I open it in Google Docs, can I convert that to PDF right away? The answer is yes. You would go to File, Download as a PDF, or you can go to Print and print it to PDF, to save as PDF. The next question was, I can go to MS Word. I'm going to open over here Microsoft Word documents. You just have to drag it onto the screen. So if I just open a document, I'm just going to open a Word document, any Word document. Okay, and then if I want to take this and I want to bring it into my Google Docs, I would go to File, Open, and then I can upload. If I had that saved on my desktop, I could just drag it. If I didn't, then I can go here. I can just grab that file. It's going to upload it and open it into Google Docs. Now, there is no guarantee that the formatting is going to come over exactly the way that it came over. Most of the time it does, but it doesn't always. Because this has people's information, I'm going to close it out. But it really is as simple as just opening it here the same way that you would open any other kind of file. This font is called Handlee, H-A-N-D-L-E-E. And you can save a document on an external drive, jump drive. So what you would do is you would go to File, and then you could either make a copy of it, or you can just go to Download. And you would keep it in the format that you prefer, an open document format, rich text format. You could save it as a Microsoft Word document, or you can also make it available offline. You can do turn on offline for all files, and then this would be if it's your own private computer, as opposed to when you're on a computer, say at the library. I can turn it on, and now every time I create a document, it's going to make that document available when I'm not online as well. And the way that we can see that is when you go into your drive, you'll be able to look at some of these, and you right click. You can go open with Google Docs. You can do it with a document viewer. You can download it, and that will save it offline as well. If you want to make it a starred folder, that way it's easier to access, you can click here. If you want to show your file location, it'll show you exactly where it is. This is only currently saved in Drive, but you could save it elsewhere on your hard drive. So if I go back here, I want to download it. And download it just any way that I'd like to. If you want to look at our document details, we can see that it's in our drive. That's where it is. It was created at 30, modified at 7:03. And this is our document status. If we want to start, we can click this. If we want to move it, we can do that as well. If we wanted to create a new folder, we could do that. You move it wherever you would like. And then this is saying that it's saved to our drive. It's not currently ready for offline use because I'm signed in on this computer that is, but on yours, you would be able to save it offline, and then you could save it on your desktop. Someone wrote, "Are documents safe in Google Drive? Can someone else have access to them without your password?" As long as you sign out of whatever computer you are on, if it's a public computer, somebody should not be able to get into your drive. You just have to make sure that when you are done using a public computer, you click on your face and then you can log out. You can sign out of all accounts, and that will prevent you from having anybody get in on your sign in and going into your drive. So you can see all of these accounts are signed out. You can remove an account, you can add another account if yours isn't on there, or you can sign back into your personal accounts. Go back here. So if we want to customize our document, we can do that fairly easily. I was showing you a little bit about the different formatting: bold, italic, underline, text color, highlighting. And we could change the font size. I'm going to go into other things like columns in a little bit. Jerry, the reason that I click the star icon is it makes it a little easier for me to find it. So if I'm in my Google Drive, I want to see the things that are the most important to me. They're going to be the ones that I starred. So because I starred the Google Docs basics, now when I go into my starred folder, it's one of less options than my regular folder that has everything. All right, somebody wrote, oh, you're welcome, Jerry. So somebody wrote in here, if I want a working copy of a good file to be perfectly formatted as I desire, should I start the work in the writing or writing in the PDF format? How would I start work in PDF file versus, well, you wouldn't be starting anything in PDF necessarily because you can't edit the PDF. The PDF is just a way to save it so nobody else can change your formatting. You would save it as a doc, a Google Doc, And I would edit everything in Google Docs just as their regular format. The reason that you would save it as a .docx is that if you want to open it in Word later. But while we are using just Google Docs, and you don't need to convert it into Word, you can just leave it exactly the way it is. You don't have to save it as a Word doc. Okay, so somebody asked, can I show how to go to the Google Drive and log out again? And how do I go and get things from other drives? Okay, so if I wanted to take something from somewhere that I've already had it saved, I actually don't have a jump drive with me at the second, but if I did, I would open my files, which for me, I had it pinned down to the bottom, but if you open your files, you could go however it is that you normally do it. I just have mine pinned here, and it comes up in a bunch of different file formats, all of the different things that I have on my computer. So say I have a document, and this happens to be just a syllabus for a class that I taught. So somebody wanted to know how I open it. If I wanted to take this and I want to save it somewhere, this is a Word document now. If I want to send this to Google Docs, I would have my window open that I want, and I would go to my Google Drive. So the way that I get to my Google Drive, if I don't have it open already, is I would go to google.com. And now that is going to open up this screen. I'm going to see my waffle up here. My face is going to say Gmail images, and then it's going to have the waffle. I'll click on that, and then I'm going to go to my drive, which is the triangle that's 3 colors. I click on that. And then if I want to do a new, I can say file upload. If I knew where I wanted it to come from, I can just open it from here. I'm not sure where I got that other one from. I'm just going to open a document. It's going to now upload it. This one happened to upload a picture, so that's not ideally what I wanted to do. Sorry. So this is if I'm uploading it into my drive, it's now here. If I want to do it directly into Google Docs, I would do this, and I would go to blank document or from a template. So I'm going to go to blank document and open that. And now I have a blank document. If I want to save something, my Google Drive, I can drag and drop as well. So if I have this, I can drop it into this lower box and it will copy this Word document that I have right into my Google Drive. It's up here. I can then click on this little file and it's going to show me the file. It's telling me I have it in my Google Drive. If I want to open this, I can right click on it. It's going to open it in this view window. And then I can go open with Google Docs. So now that was a Microsoft Word file. Now it's going to be a Google Docs file. So now I have this document that looks exactly the same as it did in my Word document, but it's in a Google Docs file. You can see that it was a Word document because of the extension here. If I want to take this and I want to download it the way that it is currently, I can make a copy or I can as a Google Docs. Now, when we look at it, that little DocX extension is no longer there, and it is saved to Drive as a Google Doc. I hope that answers your question. And if you want to be able to save it offline, I would have to sign into my other account in order to do that. I apologize. I can't show you how to save it offline, but it's actually not difficult to do. To save it offline, you would save it as any of these file formats. You can also go into your Google Drive and you can just hit download, and then it will download it and save it offline for you. So if I open a document again, I can add a shortcut to Drive. I can make a copy of it if I wanted to. I can choose where I'd like it to go. I can put it directly on my computer. I can choose where I want it to go on my computer. Mine is already synced, but you could do it in your Drive or on your computer the way that makes sense for you. So if you have documents or pictures here, it's easy enough to do it in Word or PDF. We already showed the documents, so I'm going to go into a document. Because I added everything before, now some of my documents are not working properly. But in order to log out of everything, you would just go to sign out, and then you'd be able to get out of all of those accounts, and that safeguards you from having somebody else log in. I'm going to log into my other account that syncs all of my documents offline so I can show you that. So I have this document, I want to save it offline. It says that it's saved to drive. This document is ready for offline use. I can edit the document without an internet connection, and changes will save to drive once it's reconnected. So that just means it's going to automatically save it, even if I make changes when I'm not online. And again, to download it, I can download it as a Microsoft Word. I can download it as a PDF document. However I want. I click that, it's going to download down here. And then I can show it in the folder where I saved it to, came to my downloads, and now it's saved as a PDF. When I open the PDF, it is over on this screen. Now this is in a PDF, this is an Adobe Acrobat. This is not editable. This is just a one that would keep all of your formatting the way that any PDF document would. I think I've showed how to go from MS Word to Google PDF. I will do it again later if we need to. Oh, so before it asks me for permission for the owner to access a document, I have a few different Google emails that are set up. So if I'm trying to open something from an email that I did not give my other email permission to do, it's going to tell me I need permission. If you aren't having a lot of different Google accounts attached to your account, you should not have that problem. Jump drives are all different drive letters. Somebody asked me, sometimes it's E, sometimes it's F, sometimes it's U, sometimes it's K. It depends on what ports you have on your particular computer. I move it. So Jill wrote, did you move it or make a copy in Docs? You can do both. I did do both while we were going through there. I can move this document, pass over recipes. I can move it to a different folder. I could add a folder, for instance. That added the folder. Now I can move this to the recipes folder. So it's been moved from my drive to recipes. If I wanted to undo that, I could undo it. I could go directly to recipes now. And within the drive folder, there's going to be a new folder called recipes, and that's where that will be. You would know that it is saved or downloaded when you're in the doc. It'll have this little cloud with a check mark. That means that it's saved on the cloud. And then when you are saving it, you would go to download and you would choose the format that you want. If you wanted to now make this into Word, you would know that it's downloaded because it comes up in this download box in the bottom left corner. That's the difference between saved and downloaded. Saved is going to be a little cloud with a checkbox, and downloaded is going to be in your downloads folder. Over here, it shows you that it's been downloaded. I can certainly send anybody that wants the agenda page so you can click through it. It does have links directly to the Google Docs resource pages, and it'll give you a work through exactly how to do it step by step as well. I'm going to write the agenda in the text box as soon as I can get it to work for me. anybody that wants to see this agenda directly from G Suite Learning Center, I'm typing in the web address for that there, and you can look at the actual sheet that I was working off of as well. So you can put that right into your browser and it'll be there. Anybody that gives me their email address, I am happy to email you the actual sheet that I created over here. I have to sign back in. Sorry. So because I signed out, I now have to go and sign out of this account, and then I can go back in and sign in. Go back to the agenda. Okay, I have a bunch of emails. I will make sure that I send them. I might actually be able to share it with you because I don't have a problem with that either. And I can show you how that feature works as well, because that's coming up next. Just trying to get back to. So I do want to show you how to add some pictures and do some columns, but I'm just going to jump down to section 3 for a second to show how I can share the documents. Since this is one that it seems that most of you want to be able to access, I'm going to go in and I'm going to share it just by hitting the share button. And now I can go in, and the people that wanted this particular document, I'm going to put your email addresses right in there. And I'm just taking these directly out of the chat box. I am going to talk about I already did talk about how to convert a document or photos to save it in Google Drive to Word or PDF, but when I go over photos again in a minute, I will show that again. The reason that I have to sign in and out of my accounts is because I was showing you something and it came up in my wrong email. That is my fault. If you do not have multiple Gmail accounts, you will not have to have permissions. You will not have to sign in and out. The reason I did that was because I wanted to show you how you can sign out so people are not logging into your accounts if you're using a shared computer somewhere. So I have my Zoom chat box over here on my other screen. It now is So it was here, people were texting me their emails. I'm just going over and I'm copying, which is Control C, and then I'm clicking into the box where I can share it. I'm doing Control V and then Enter, and it is just adding them for me. And generally, you will need a Gmail account in order to use Google Docs. I'm going to send this. It should send it to you. If you don't want someone to edit it, you can send them as a viewer. I'm going to download this so I have it in case someone accidentally edits it. But you have options. You can do a viewer, a commenter, or an editor. So there are some of you that do not have Google. I'm going to send it to you anyway. They are going to ask you to sign in with a Gmail account. So if you don't have one, it takes less than 5 minutes to sign up for a free Gmail account. Okay. Everybody that sent me their email should have gotten it. Sharing is not the same as CC or VCing someone. It's not being sent as an attachment. It's being sent as an editable link or a viewable link. So when you click on it, it'll open it and you will be able to view that document. So if you were to get an editor invite, then you would be able to type on the document, and before, when you saw like this green, that means it's me. If you made a change, it would be a different color with your name. So you can see somebody already came in and decided like that they're going to look at the document. So now we can see that they're viewing it with us. I think everybody should have gotten this at this point to be able to see it. So I'm just going to move on to adding pictures, links, tables, and more. I just want to find a document that is easier to edit. Okay. So we have this agenda document. I'm going to now put in a picture. So in order to put in a picture, you see your main view bar here. Pictures, insert image is the one that has a little box with white mountains in it. And I can upload from my computer. I can go to Drive. I can go to my photos. I can go to my camera, or by URL. I can search the web. I'm just going to go to my photos because I know that there are some things. I'm going to select a photo that I took recently. Now it's really giant. I want to resize that. I'm going to go to the corner. I'm going to drag diagonally. Now this might not be exactly where you want it to be because it's in line with the text. If you want to wrap it with the text, you can make the text go on the right side of it. You can make this go on the right side of the text. You can move it around just by dragging. You can put it as a break in the text. So if you wanted it to go between section 1 and 2, you would drag it between there. This is very similar to Word and other word processing documents. You can change the margin size. If you wanted it to be smaller, make that space different. If you wanted the spacing to be bigger, you could have it exactly right on top and bottom. You could also have it move with the text or stay in a fixed position on the page. If I wanted to put it here, now this is going to be here. So you can do a lot of things with your images. You can position, you can move it with the text, you can fix it on the page. You can make it relative to the top left of the page, to the center, to the top right. There are a bunch of quick layouts that you can use depending on where you want your photo. It makes it very easy. You can also recolor if you wanted to change it a little bit. These are like filters that you might have on your phone. So green happens to be my favorite color. So if we wanted to do a little crazy neon, we could make that picture neon. If we wanted to go and move it back, we could recolor it. And my screen is no recolor and put it back. If you want to do adjustments, you can change the transparency. I just made it a little see-through. You can change the brightness and the contrast as well. It's the same as any filter or photo editor that you might use. And bring it back to normal. Transparency, contrast, if I wanted to make it with the red tones in it. If I wanted to make it cooler tones or gray. But you can do a lot of things right in Google Docs that you might not be able to do in some other programming. Size and rotation, you can make it a definitive ratio, like you could lock the aspect ratio. You could make it bigger or smaller just with the arrows, or you can type in exactly what you want. You can increase the width and the height scale, whatever you would like. You can rotate as well, put it at an angle. You could rotate it. There are tons of options that you can do with images right within Google Docs. I'm going to take this out right now because we don't really need a picture of Connecticut's Lake State Park, but so if we wanted to put in a link, so on here, there's already a link in here. If we wanted to take that link out, we could do that just by removing it. If you did something accidentally, you can go to undo, and then it's back in there. If we wanted to add a different link in, say we just wanted to put in google.com. If you hit enter, it's going to automatically put that link in for you. But if you don't want it to have that formatting, you could take away the underline and you can simply remove the link. And then if you wanted to add your own link in, you would highlight it and then you go to this link button and it's going to automatically relink it for you. I missed somebody to share with. What's his? Okay. Somebody asked, what does move with words mean here? Can I show what that would be? Moving words with the picture. So if I put in a picture, and I insert it, image options. Text wrapping. Inline with text. You can wrap it around the text. There's text on both sides. You can break the text with it. You can put it inline. You can wrap it, or you can, when it moves with the text, it means when the text moves, the picture moves. So if I hit an enter here, the picture moves as well. If I want to fix the position on the page, I'm putting it where I want it to go. Okay. So somebody had said before, if we have a document and we want to save it as a Word or a PDF, we have a picture. If you are just doing a document that has only a picture, you could do it the same way. You could save it as a PDF, or you could save it as a Word document. You could keep it as a Google Docs itself. But if we go to File, and we go to Download, we can do it as a PDF document. It came down here because we downloaded it. I'm gonna open it up. It's gonna show me. It has the picture there already, but it's saved as a PDF. It's just download and you choose the file extension that you want, whether it is a Word doc or if it is a PDF. You can create collages in here, but it's not as easy to do as if you were going to use something like Canva, because that is going to have frames that you can drop pictures in. Here, you would have to be very careful with the way that you're positioning them. It's not going to give you the borders that you want within Google Docs. There are other programs like Slides that will let you do that a little bit easier and directly in Google Docs. But if you want to make collages, I'm happy to kind of go over how you do that in Canva. When we do Canva, like instead of 101, we're going to do Canva 102 in the future, and that'll talk about more of the different kinds of projects that you can do within Canva. So yes, you can embed a picture into a Word doc and just copy and paste. Yeah, you can do that too. You can import, it's basically the same, you're just bringing the picture into the document. And you can save a picture from a website. I don't know what that exact comment means, saying that they get destroyed and they get a gift. So if you went to a website and you found a picture, I can just go to Google Images here. We can search, we can beach. So say we wanted just a picture of something, you can download it, save image, or you right click on your mouse, you go to Save Image As. I'm just gonna save this right now on my desktop. So now when I go into my document, I can take this picture out, just hitting backspace, and now I can go back to add in a different, I'm gonna upload it from my computer, or I can directly search the web from here. So this is my Google Images right now. You would want to make sure that you have the license to use them. Denise, I'm sorry I didn't check that photo when I did it immediately. But you can select and insert. I would suggest, I mean, you could use this and you can check to see the permissions, But if you use a website called Pixabay, those are all free to use. But you can select it from there. It'll input it right into your document. I don't like it to move the text. I like to put it in a fixed position on the page. And I like to let the text be to the left of it. That's my own personal preference. You can do it however you would like. If you want to add in a picture, we said search from the web. I clicked there, it came up, it let me search Google Photos if I want to do it from my computer. I go into my open area, I saved it to my desktop. I just saved it as the word beach. And then I can, again, position this how I'd like. My screen is out. I'm going to take it away from the text. I'm going to fix it on the page. So now I have my pictures in my document. This would not be the program that I would use for superimposing pictures and making collages. It's not that easy to do that way here. I'm sure if you played with it enough on your own, you could figure it out, but they don't really overlap the way that you would want them to make a collage in Google Docs. The same thing is true of Word. The word processing programs aren't designed for that. You would want to use more of a design program. I taught Canva, I think last week or the week before. Canva is a free online design program that makes it easier to do a lot of different graphic design projects. When I said that I'm going to do a backspace to take it out, it's essentially deleting it. If I click on it and then I hit backspace, the picture disappears. If I want to bring it back, I can go to undo and back. It does not delete your photo from your computer. It just deletes it out of the document. And it just takes it off of the document permanently if you don't hit undo to bring it back, but it doesn't delete it from your hard drive if you saved it. If you take it out and it came from the web, you'll have to go back to insert it that way. It is not copied onto your hard drive. If you take a photo from somewhere that won't let you save your picture, that's because it's copyrighted and it won't let you do it. You have to find a picture elsewhere. I will type in a website that I think is very good. All of the photos in Pixabay are free for you to use for your own personal reasons. You cannot sell them as part of a commercial reasoning, but you can use those pictures and there are no licensing issues. I have not taught InDesign. I would not be comfortable enough teaching that, but if there's an interest, I'm sure Denise and Chico would be willing to find somebody who could do that.
Yes, I would.
All of our courses are posted on the website. I've been doing Mondays. Hopefully we will add some more classes. We're gonna try to come up with a calendar ahead of time and be able to do that. we're going to have Google Slides next week, which is the equivalent of PowerPoint on the Google Suite. It's going to be a basics, but if anybody at that time has some questions that might be more advanced, I'd be happy to help you with that. If you have your pictures saved to your computer, you're not going to delete them from your computer. My suggestion is when you find pictures that you like, save them to a specific file, and then you'll always have them, and you can just drop them into your documents as you need them, the way that I did, simply by uploading from my computer or having them on my drive. If you save them to your drive, they will not get deleted from your drive. They'll only get deleted from your documents. We can certainly send out some of the classes. I can look at the calendar and see what we taught when. I don't know when are we going to post these again. Denise, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And John could correct me if I'm incorrect. Most of the career workshops are recorded, and then after they go through an editing process, they are posted on the library's YouTube channel. And the way that you access the YouTube channel is through the library's homepage, which is, you can Google Port Washington Public Library, or it's www.pwpl.org. We can type that into the chat. But they're not posted into perpetuity. So I believe that they're being posted for a period of time and taken down. I don't know if John wants to add anything to that. I'm not sure.
I have to look back at my calendar to see when I taught what classes. There have been a few lately that we've done. I'm just going to take a quick look at my calendar.
Okay, I'm looking at my calendar too.
On June 1st, I taught One Sheet, which is graphic, like one-page type of resume. It's not something that you would submit for a job, but you would bring it to maybe a networking event or like a job fair to kind of show who you are. Some of these actually got deleted out of my calendar. On, I guess, June 15th, I think that's when I taught resume formatting basics, was on June 15th. And then June 29th, we taught elevator pitches. Last week, which was July 6th, we taught Canva 101. Next week will be Google Slides. And then on July 27th, it'll be LinkedIn. And then in August, we will have August 10th, one of my other colleagues will be teaching Microsoft Teams. And then on August 24th, I'll be teaching Instagram. So that's what we have right now. I'm happy to email you that list of what we've been doing. Denise, do you know Canva class on the YouTube yet?
I'm sorry, Maria, what's the question?
Do you know if the Canva 101 class is on the YouTube for the library yet?
I'm not sure. I know that they have to edit the content before they post it on the YouTube, and we just did that one. Wasn't that last week?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, it might be too soon. And to answer the gentleman's question, I don't know how long they're going to be posted before they're taken down. I think they were talking about 3 months, but I don't even know if that's like a thing at this point. This whole thing is so new to us that, we're still figuring it out as well. But definitely it will be on for several months at this point.
Thank you, Denise.
I wish I had more clear information, but I don't.
Somebody was asking about my my branding, marketing, and networking. I just brought this up. This was not a class that we had taught at the library yet, but there are certainly components of it that we have talked about at library classes. This might be something that we can discuss going forward for doing, Denise, if you wanted more programming in the future.
I am going to be scheduling a career and/or finance workshop every Monday night while the library is closed to patrons, which will definitely be through the end of the year. We will not be having any in-house workshops. We will not be able to set up workshops to instill proper social distancing. The building just doesn't lend itself for that. So everything we're doing will be on a Zoom formatting on Monday evenings through the end of December. So I am sure that, please type into the chat subjects that you would like to see covered. We may already have them scheduled, and if we do not, we will certainly make our best effort to get that subject scheduled.
I do see a request for Google Sheets. That I don't think that's one that I put on the calendar. Maybe we can do a drop-in and Google Sheets the same night or something. Or we can schedule that after August, once we get to September. The other thing is we do have a job search bootcamp coming up in the fall, and I just want to make sure that that's not going to be in conflict with our Monday night classes either. I don't know if you remember the dates for that, Denise.
It starts October 19th.
Is it on Mondays, the job search?
No,
Okay.
I don't believe so. Let me double check. Hold on.
October 19th is a Monday.
Oh, okay.
I just want to make sure because I'm happy to do classes on Monday nights, but if we have boot camp, it might be a little hard for me to be in 2 Zooms at the same time.
No, if the boot camp is scheduled on Monday evenings in October, then we will. There will definitely be career workshops scheduled on Monday nights that we don't have a boot camp scheduled, and then I'll certainly try to compensate for that when there is a boot camp scheduled.
Okay.
So that there's not a conflict.
Is our job search boot camp 5:30 to 8:30 in the fall?
Yes. Yes.
5:30 to 8:30. I want to go back to what we were doing here, if that's okay, Denise. We had a lot of good questions, but I just want to make sure that we get through the agenda here. Although anybody that asked for it, I believe, did get this, that has the links directly to how you can do all of these things, not just what they are. Okay, so we added some pictures. I showed you how to add a link. Now to add a table, I'm going to go to a different document. So I'm just opening a blank one. I'm going to save it by putting in a title. Now, in order to put in a table, you're going to go to Insert, and then you drag down to Table. You can do the same with Image. You can go to Insert. It's the same thing as over here. But for a table, you go to Insert, you go to Table, And then there is a grid box over here. So you can make it however many boxes that you want. Since this happens to be one of our career workshops, I'm going to show it as if we were going to put in a bullet table like we would do in a resume. So that would be 3 columns by 4 rows, because we normally say to have 12 different core competencies that you would put in your table. So again, that was insert table, and I went over 3 and down 4, and I clicked, and then it came up with this. So now, in order to make this a core competencies table, I would highlight all of these, and then I would want to put in some bullets. So I would go over here to the 3 dots, because this is more formatting options. And I would click on the dots, and now it drops by dots in. And I can write in teaching. I can write in power. You would just go through and put whatever your competencies are, and then get rid of the boxes around. You highlight the whole thing, and you go to Format. It's not showing up. Sorry. So I right-clicked. So I right-clicked, and I'm going to go to Table Properties. And on the Table Properties, I want to take away the border. So I'm going to make it white. And I'm going to make it 0 points, because I don't want it to have any kind of borders. And then I'm going to hit OK. And now my boxes around my bullets are gone. And that's what you would put into a resume. But again, I'll show you how to insert a table. Again, insert table. You go over however many you want. If you wanted it 4 by 3 instead of 3 by 4, it's going to change the shape of it a little bit. So that was the table. I'm going to go back to here, and then we can create page columns if we wanted. I'm going to go to a different document. I'm just going to open up. I knew that that was saved because the cloud had a checkbox in it. I just want to open something that I can put some columns in without ruining it. This is just a random document that has nothing to do with anything that you would want to know probably, but I'm just going to highlight, and I'm going to put in some columns. So I highlighted that, and now I'm going to go to my format. I'm going to go down to columns, and I'm going to put this section into 2 columns. So now the text that I had there that was 1 big paragraph is now in 2 columns. If I wanted that in 3 columns, I would go to 3 columns. If I wanted it back into 1 column, I can go to 1 column. So columns aren't that difficult when it comes to inserting them. It's very similar to Word. I'm just reading some comments in the box, chat box. Hold on 1 second.
So Maria,
Yes, I'm sorry.
so much to my mortification, as I was sitting here, I decided to click on the library's YouTube channel, and I don't see any career workshops posted on the YouTube channel. So I will have to inquire about that and hopefully get them posted as quickly as possible. I don't know the mechanism that dropped, but it will be remedied. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Technology is not the easiest thing to do what you want it to do, as we were evidenced last week when Canva and I were in a fight. So it's just what it is. We have to make the best of what we have.
If anybody would like to listen to terrific stories, story time from our children's librarians, there's dozens and dozens of those, and they're quite good. But I will make sure the career workshops get posted.
So somebody asked, how do you get rid of one of the columns? I don't know if that was in the table or not, but we can go highlight the entire table that you inserted, and you can right click on it and you can go to table properties. You're able to change the column widths and heights, or you can go to formats, insert your table, and you can make it what you want it to be just by readjusting it. Another person said, how do I get all the bullets in the boxes? If you highlight all of them, that will allow you to put the bullets in all the boxes. And the way that you get to it is the little dots over here where it says more. And then you just hit the bullet list. If you want not dots, you want it to be something else, you can choose whatever you like. We choose solid circles for the purpose of resumes because they don't get kicked out of the portals. Yes, if you have a lot of columns and you want to get rid of a bunch of them, you can just highlight the ones that you want to get rid of and then hit delete. Table of authorities is a little advanced for Google Docs 101. That's going to have to be in a different class. I can probably teach advanced MS Word if that is something that winds up, but those are not going to be a Google Docs basics class, but we can talk about getting those advanced classes on the calendar. Let me go back to my agenda. So sharing and collaborating on files, I showed you how I can share the documents. It's simply going to share. And then you see the people that come up. For instance, I had given you some access to this and I didn't want you to have it anymore. I could take the person off. I'm just gonna copy this for a second. I don't want to send feedback, sorry. So if I wanted to take someone off of the share, I can just right click on where it says, or click on where it says viewer, where the little arrow down is, and then I can remove it. So because I removed you, I'm sorry, I'm going to put you right back on. And now I made you an editor. So whoever that was, now that you're an editor, if you are in this document, I don't know if you actually are. You could go in and start typing and you will see how the collaboration method. Sent the link back. It's already been sent. So that was a feature. So if you want to share with people, these are the settings. So the editors can change permissions and share. So if you want to share it to other people, you can do that if that's clicked off. We don't generally do that with our documents, so I'm going to take that off right now. And then viewers and commenters can see the option to download, print, and copy. So if you wanted to be able to print this or download it or copy it and start editing on your own, you could do that because that box is checked off. Sorry, my screen is not connecting at the moment. I apologize.
Question. May I ask a question? If you share the document, say with like 4 people, and everyone goes in and makes corrections and somebody does something wrong, can you undo just their edits, or do you have to undo like everyone's and revert back to the version that you sent? Or can you see what they did and undo just like Jimmy's, you know, edits?
You should be able to undo one person's edits. There's generally a way to do it because we don't have it set up that way. Hold on one second. I just want to open it up and my window disappeared. I apologize. Okay. Where's my screen share? Okay. So if we have a collaborator, so this is the person that I gave editor capabilities to. If you would like to edit something, we can see that you're over here. If you want to just type something in on that document, we'll show how we can track that. I can go in and add a couple more people and you can. Who was just speaking with you, me, that wanted to ask that question?
It's me, Betsy. EMO 11050. I don't know if you have one from you on there.
Did I send that one?
No.
Sorry.
That's all right. I probably didn't respond. Were you asking
Okay.
before? I wasn't paying attention.
You said EMO1150 at Gmail?
EMO 110. Here, I'll write it right here. EMO 11050 at AOL.com. That's me.
It's not the same here as it is when you're editing. It's just going to show me when you stop typing and then I go to compare my documents. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. That's if we had something else, sorry. Where is my feature? The editing mode. So we can see that we were given different things. So when I go into my version history, I can see what somebody else has edited. Then I can go in and I can name this version or make it a copy to then prevent their edits from becoming the permanent. So I can go back to this one and you can see that I took out 101 and made it basic. In this document, we have this and I can save a copy. I'm not going to share it with the same people, but I'm just going to say, okay. So now when I have this, I knew what the edits were based on the purple.
Mm.
So I can go back and I can take out all the purple edits. If you had multiple people that were all different colors on there, you would be able to identify whose edits were what and then just erase them.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like, yes. Okay. Yep. It does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so somebody said, how do you know when somebody is actively looking at the document? I'm just going to go back to the main document. So up here, this is where I know who's looking at the document. And there could be a chat, so you could text to me like, oh, I'm making this suggestion about this document here, but I can also see that this is the person who is like making physical edits. They tell me what color they are by the circle around their icon. And then I can open my comment history, notifications, comments, etc. And then I can also close that out. Suggesting is when you're collaborating on something, but you don't want to make a physical edit inside of the document itself. It's just writing, I think we should change this wording to this in a comment section, as opposed to physically typing on the document. Yes, by making a copy, you're separating the edits from the original master copy, but it will still continuously save. As long as this little cloud has a check mark in it, it is saved and up to date. This one says the last edit was made 4 minutes ago, so we could see our version history to see what that was and to revert it back if we wanted to. If we don't want to show our changes, it'll get rid of it completely. If you do want to show your changes, it'll show you who made the changes by highlighting it in that color that the person was assigned. So I am green if I make an edit, and then this person was purple if they make the edit.
How many saves will it will be in the history? Will it just keep going until you close it?
All of them.
Really?
So say you go to bed, but your coworker or the person collaborating with you is a night owl and stays up until 2 o'clock in the morning. Every change that they make that was like a little gap in between will be saved as a different version in the version history. If you click this button here, it'll only show the named versions, only the ones that you saved separately. I would suggest if you're collaborating on something and you're afraid that somebody might make a mistake, not to click this off because it'll keep saving all of the versions. So I'm gonna go back to what the document was. Yes, if you do suggestions, they will be in the comments section. So I can comment. And you can see that it's gonna be my name. I can say, I like these pictures. Can we add two, if I could spell, two more. And then that'll be there and people can see in the comment section, I did it, except I highlighted .com, which wasn't really a picture. I should have highlighted the actual picture and then made the comment. But I can also edit my comments. I can delete my comments. So now if I click this and then I go and I add a comment, I can write, now I'm commenting, it's specifically telling me that this is what I was talking about. That's why it's highlighted in the yellow color, because I made a comment on this exact picture. So the comments are going to be in the sidebar, and they don't actually make it into the documents. When you are, if we don't want to see our comments, or if we want to get rid of them, we can resolve them. And you can, I just said like, it's okay. Like I did this if I added them in, or I can add a comment and say, no, this is enough pictures. When I reply, it's going to open it back up. I can cancel, I can discard. I can link it to a comment. If somebody else was doing it, they could click on my comment and then link it to this comment so they know that I'm replying if I forgot to hit the reply button. But for now, I'm just going to delete the comment thread. And now that is no longer highlighted in yellow. It wouldn't actually be on the document if you were to say print it or share it into social media. It's just for the editing portions of it. So if I go back to my version history, because I deleted those comments, they're not being shown here as the version history. Okay. So I showed how we unshare documents, how you can remove someone. I showed how we can add comments and replies. I showed how to suggest edits when we were doing that. That is the chat there. So you can chat with them directly right through the document as you're doing it. Before, when we were in version history, when this is here, that means that it's off. When it's to the right, it's blue, and then it's on. I'm going back to having it off because that's how I would prefer it. So Jill, you wrote, is the benefit of using Google Docs versus Excel because multiple people can use it at the same time? Google Docs is not really equivalent to Excel. It's more equivalent to Microsoft Word. Google Sheets is the equivalent of Excel. And in both word processing and spreadsheet programs, you can have multiple people using it at the same time. So it's just what you are more comfortable with. The reason that I'm teaching Google Docs is because I think less people know how to use Google Docs than Microsoft Word. It just comes on less computers, but it is a free programming solution where Microsoft Word you would have to pay for. I hope that answers your question, Jill.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Olga, you said, please explain again how to assign colors to editors. So there's no way for me to assign colors to the editors. Google Docs automatically does it. When you get shared and then you logged in, you are automatically given a color. I hope that helped. Do we have 2 Olgas in here tonight? That's exciting. It's not, a very common name. The last time I had an Olga in my class, besides at the Port Washington Public Library, was when I taught high school cooking. I had a senior named Olga, and she was a tough cookie. One of my favorites, but definitely very outspoken in class. Okay, so let's see, what is next that we can talk about? Oops. We've got a lot of overlap pictures now. Okay. All right, so print and download documents. We did do that a little bit earlier. So if we wanted to print this, I'm just gonna go back to the main document. If we wanted to print this document now, I'm gonna go to the copy. That way, if I'm moving and somebody else is moving, it's not jumping the document. So printing and downloading the documents. So if I want to print it, I can go right here to the little printer, or I can hit Control and P because I'm on a PC. If you're on a Mac, it would be that little 4-leaf clover and the letter P to print. But you would click this, and then you would choose whichever printer that you want, and you would hit print after the preview loads. And then that would hopefully print out as long as you are linked. I'm not going to print because my printer does not have any paper in it at the moment. I don't want to jump up and run across the room. The next thing would be to download versions in other formats. I think we went over this pretty well before, but I'll show you one more time. So you're going to go to File, and then you would go to Download, and you would choose whichever document extension that you want, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's a PDF, whether it's for the web page, rich text format, whatever it is. Most of the time, people are going to be doing Microsoft Word or a PDF, depending on what their purposes are. We can make a copy in Docs. So again, that's going to be File, and it would be Make a Copy, which we did to make this one from the original. And then you can rename it however you want. Like, we know this is the version that it was. We can share it with the same people. We can copy the comments and suggestions. If there were any resolved comments or suggestions in there, we could also include those. And then you can also copy the email as an attachment. So say we all worked on this document in collaboration tonight. We were all logged in, making comments, suggestions, adding in pictures, and I wanted everyone to be able to get the final document. I can do File and then go down to Email as Attachment. I can send myself a copy by clicking it, and then I can copy in all the names of the people that I want to have this. I can change the subject if I want. I can write a full message in. If I don't want to attach it, I just want all the content inside of the email, I could do that. I can also attach it in whatever format I want. If I wanted it plain text without the formatting, I could do that. If I wanted it in PDF, if I wanted Microsoft Word, I can choose which format I want to send it in. So this is helpful for some people when they don't have Microsoft Word, but it's a requirement to send something in a docx file. You would be able to do that by sharing it or emailing it as an attachment. So somebody would get your Google Doc as a Word document and not know that it was a Google Doc to begin with. So I would just type in all this information and then hit send, and it would go to the person that I want as an attachment. And then we can, so there was another thing that we said earlier, access your calendar, notes, and tasks. So if you use Google often, you will probably have a Google Calendar, Google Keep, and Google Tasks. And they come up in this little bar over here, and you can hide the side panel or show the side panel. So say I want to go to my calendar, I can click on the little calendar icon, and it'll show me my events. Because I don't have this class like on this particular calendar, it's not going to show up. But if I was on a different one of my Google calendars, you would see a bunch of different events here. So there are business meetings coming up, tax day is Wednesday. You would be able to put it on. So if you're looking in here and there are dates within the document that you don't want to forget about, you can open up your calendar and scroll to the day that you need it and put it right in your calendar from Google Docs. If you wanted to make notes outside of the comment section, you can go to Google Keep. Now, Google Keep is a note-taking app. I use it for everything. You can collaborate with people. My husband and I have like a home to-do list, all different things that we have. So we have a bunch of notes that we share. Sometimes when I have a document like this and I'm working on something with other people at work, I will do a take note, and then it's embedding the actual document right in the note so it can be accessed. And then I can say, Google Docs is the title of my note, and I'm going to say, check out these edits. And then I can hit done. And then that's there. Now, if I want to add to the document, if I want to archive this and hide it so nobody else can see it except for me, if I want to delete it, or if I want to open it and keep, I can do that. So I'm just opening my Google Keep right now. You can see it's right here. I can open from in here my document right within Keep because I attached it. In Keep, you can also color code things. So if you know all of your work things, you want them to be a teal, all your work things can be teal. I have all of my recipes in my Google Keep, they're green. All of my work things are usually purple. It's just a good way to keep things separate. And I think Keep is very helpful. I'm just gonna get out of this for a second, and then you can also open your to-do list and tasks. If you know that you have to say, add 7 pictures in section 4 and all those kind of things, you can just start adding tasks. Add 7 pictures, change font. And then as you go through it, when your tasks are open and you finish it, you can check it off. And it says that it's completed and it disappears.
So
if you bring it back, you can go to undo. It helps you keep track of everything that you need to do, like in your life in general, but when you're working in Docs specifically, it's helpful that it's right in the window that you need.
so it's if you have a document open, the tasks are connected to that document?
Yes, you can make the tasks connected to the document. So you can create a new list. You can name it. You can say this is going to be your Google Docs. So now it's named as that, and you can add your tasks. So then when you open your tasks independently, you would be able to, like basically match that up to your document that you wanted.
Oh, okay. They don't automatically open when you open the document.
Well, I can open so if I open my document,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go back for a second. I'm going to open my document here.
And then you open tasks.
Yes. And I can, when it loads, there we go. When I open this, I can choose the list that I want. So this happened, I didn't save it. It's just my task was the one that I wrote it on. So if you save it as the list, you
Oh, okay.
can specific list that you want.
Okay. It's going to
In
load
any
all your
document.
tasks, not just specific tasks to that document. It's gonna
Right.
load
All of
okay.
your tasks can be opened right from within the document. So if you save it as the same title as the document, that'll help you know what is
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. I have a few more comments in here. I'm just going to read through them. Outline. I am not aware of a candy stripe pattern. I could look it up for when we do the next version. This is very basic. Just how do you get a doc? How do you save it? How do you print it? Those kind of things. But I can look for a candy stripe pattern and see if that's an option to be able to border. I'm not seeing a border for this. If you wanted that, I would think you'd have to do it in the design program at this time. Otherwise, we could just do simple borders. They have dots and dashes. And you can change the thickness of it if you wanted, but it's not going to be a candy stripe necessarily. I don't know that this is the program that I would make holiday cards in. I think that needs to be more of a design program. Trying to keep this going. You can do a watermark by putting in a picture in the back of the text and just make it very transparent, which I showed before. So if we wanted to move this to the center of the document, but we wanted it not breaking the text, sorry. Just now, I want to make it very transparent. I don't know how to do this like this. It's not letting me put it in as a watermark at the moment. That's a little frustrating. I apologize.
Maybe.
Letting me put the, there is a feature to do it and it changed recently and I apologize. I didn't memorize how to do the watermark. That'll have to be up for the next one. Oh, wow. It just took you would use Keep over Notes because it is a Google platform and it will open right in Google Docs. The way that you embed a note into a doc. Oops, that wasn't what I wanted. There we go. So if I go into Keep, it automatically will embed it in because I have this open. So as soon as I go to take a note, it's going to put the source of the document into it. I don't have to do anything to put that in there. It just goes. If I want to take a note that's not related to this document, I just take out the source and then I can take a different note. If I want to go back to here, again, it's just automatically in there. Keep note is actualized first or calendar. You wouldn't embed a note into a calendar if there were dates in your document that you wanted to put on your calendar. Like say this was a list of classes that we were teaching, you can look at the list of classes and then just put them into your calendar while your calendar is right here rather than going back and forth between different pages, switching between this one and your calendar page and going back and forth. You can do it while Google Keep is just, Google Calendar is open with your document next to it. Okay, so somebody was asking about closing the task down. You can add a time in your tasks, view them in Google Calendar, and create repeating tasks. So I didn't add a time in mine. I can put a date in if I wanted. Oh no. I'm not sure how you put your time in, why it gave you a start time. I'm not seeing it on here, so I have to work with tasks a little bit more to be able to explain why it won't let you close it down. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read through the rest of the comments. Oh. Start now. There really aren't really fancy borders in this program. You would go to format, you could go to borders and lines, and it's just border weight and border dash. So it's either straight, dotted line, or dashes. It's not really a fancy design program as far as this one goes. You can get add-ons. I don't have them added here. So if I were to add them, it's just going to be confusing because I haven't played with them. And I don't want to mislead you in any of the add-ons because I don't know what they are. I haven't researched them, and they're open source, so they might not be from Google. Okay. So some people like to have a picture in between text, in between columns. That's why you would do a break in it. Some people like it wrapped. I don't like my text around pictures. I like my pictures either to the right or the left. So that's my personal preference. Some people like them right in the middle. If you're doing a recipe, you might want to have some of your ingredients on one side and some of your ingredients on the other side, or you might want to have your ingredients on one side, a picture of the step, and then the step labeled out. That could be a reason why you might put it in the middle like that. The pencil icon is to change the colors of things. But you're going to be your border weight and your border dashes. Source, I'm referring to the actual document. That's the source that is embedding itself into the note. This is a basic outline. These sections are all hyperlinked in the original document. You can see here, and it links you back to Google's, basically like their classroom. So you can see step by step how to do the things in case you missed when I was going over it, or if you were confused or the screen was weird. This will take you, if you click on it, it'll take you to that specific step and walk you through it even more in detail. I don't know if MS Word can do fancy borders. I haven't tried that. I've been using other design programs for a very long time. I didn't even try to do that. I could teach an advanced Word class if that was put on the schedule. Wrapping text is when you want it to be stacked a certain way, or you want it to go around something. It's not, I wouldn't normally use wrapping text within a document like this. I would do it more for an Excel or a Google Sheet, just because you'd want the text to be in a single cell. You would do it more when you're using columns or tables than you would just on a regular page. When I clicked on an email doc, it doesn't act like a link, so it did not act like it did on your page. I would say the majority of the time wrapping is good for Excel or Sheets. Anything that has cells, if it's within a table, that's where it would make the most sense. Again, this is a basics class, so I'm not going into like the biggest things in formatting. But if anybody is still in here and wants to know where that document originally came from, I did paste it in the text so everybody can go directly. Oops, that's not what it was. This is the full document where you can find the agenda items and the walkthrough. The next level would be intermediate. I don't know when it's being taught yet. It's not on the schedule. We were starting with basics. Okay. Are there any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? I feel like I got through the agenda tonight. We went over things. So some people are asking for handouts from previous classes. Generally, we don't do that, only because our handouts are proprietary. We didn't actually send out handouts. They were given to people who were in the physical class to go onto the website that we have for them to view it, and it is for a short period of time. Some of the classes will be uploaded, the recordings, on the library's website in their YouTube section. They have not been done yet. I'm going to type my email address in here. If anybody has additional questions specifically for me, feel free to email me. I am incredibly busy this summer, working pretty much every day. So do not be upset if I don't get back to you immediately. I will answer your question as soon as I have time.